A very good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to all the poetry lovers around the world. I, Dr. Shaminaz, on behalf of Progressive Literary and Cultural Society, welcome you all in our book discussion of Anna Maria Dall'Olios book, So Shabby Chic. So before starting the discussion, let me introduce Anna Maria ma'am, who is a famous poet from Italy. Anna Maria Del Olio is not only a poet, but she is also an English teacher who has been teaching in Italian high school since 1987. She devoted herself to fiction, poetry, as well as playwriting. In 2005, she was ranked second in Hanoju via Rendezvous, a Vietnamese cultural competition for the millennium celebration of Hanoi. Moreover, she was ranked first, second. She has been ranked first, second, third in lots of literary competition around the world for her poem from 2006 to 2020. She has published a novel, Segreti, which is an Italian novel, and in English, if translated, it is called Secrets, 2018. Moreover, she published 5 collection of poems. She Shabby Chic in 2018, L'acqua opprime, water, which means water oppresses, in 2016, Futuro Sperimental, which in English known as Experimental Food Forest, in 2016, Latte and Limoni, which in English means milk and lemon, in 2014, Langostia del Pain, which in English means bread afflict, in 2010. Finally, she has written 2 plays, Evoluzioni in Italian, meaning evolution, in 2019, and Tableau, in English table, in 2006. So she is a bilingual writer, writing both in English and Italian. Dall'Olios' literary interests are stressed on reality as well as society, even if she deals with her own life. As far as poetry is concerned, the poet's literary tradition needs to be kept in mind before writing, as she believes. It is always the subject which brings along the most convenient poetic style, yet since the contents are issues of topical interest, final layouts are totally unexpected. She published her poems she has published her poem lots of anthology and for a few literary magazines as well as web zines. She has recently published her book review in Wildfire publication, in which I am the board of director, a magazine published from United States, and the president of the Wildfire publication is Suzanne Joyner Stump, and vice president is Deborah Brooks Landform. Italian scholar Gray Franco Cotronile published Le Sirene di Cartone di Anna Maria del Olio, which in English means Anna Maria del Olio's Cardboard Siren, in 2017. It is basically a monograph about her literary career. She is also Italian representative of Progressive Literary and Cultural Society. So Anna Maria ma'am, welcome. We all welcome you. Please please tell us in detail about your book She Shabby Chic, which has been published in Italian. So over to you, Anna Maria ma'am. Yes, Anna Maria ma'am, please tell us in detail about your book She Shabby Chic.
So, I'm going to start. Yes, so I'm kind of here. Hello, everybody. I'm here to introduce my collection book, my latest collection book poems. see Shabby Chic, so Shabby Chic in English. So Shabby Chic, a term coined by the interior magazine The Word 1988, became popular with American designer Rachel Aswell, who founded the Shabby Chic brand in fine time, but on the contrary, it looks chic and interesting. The furniture as well as everything that you can find at home. As an old partner, which on header looks grateful. The apparent uncanniness gives a touch of familiarity and makes the house warm and welcoming. Here I have a magazine, a Shabby Chic magazine here for you. Is an example of this style. Can show you to take it's taken by chance. Let's take another example. Shabby Chic style. I hope you can appreciate it. But this is about furniture. In poetry, the term Shabby Chic was used only once before, exactly by an American Patty Masterman in May 2010, who taught her poems just on block. Therefore, the first time in which this term is employed in a print collection of poems is just in Shabby Chic 2018. Inspired by Patty Masterman, I written my poems in a recording key, but not too much in a story, trying to spread my answer request. The epigraph of the book, in fact, is a very meaningful line from Masterman. My poetry is really meant as a decoration for the day of life that can get rationed. My lines was scrapbook wrapped around pages, words embroidered with the entire page. Therefore, the Shabby Chic was written to decorate life. It's an attempt to add something beautiful and known to what characters like. The soul is an inner room, and the words of a poem are the furniture of the soul. It's a question of applying the Shabby Chic style in the solution to comfort, even if it destroys the little withered element connected to the contribution or to the past. To the words of the poet and the competency to show what is the right of the partner of the past then, like a new or partial new piece of furniture that is presented as it came from your grandmother in your room in order to illuminate the present. As it is sharp depends on what is not and cannot be anymore. This is a Shabby Chic style. Now let's speak about my poem. This book, 42 Poems, is about the poet, a woman who defends all men and love. She is in fact hides still 11 poems. In the beginning, you can find a list of real as well as fictional women belonging to literary and artistic fields. All of them had extremely romantic love affairs that represent the spirit of barriers between the poet and man. What would happen to me if, on the other hand, every day and society shows that there is no time or place to have a sound love relationship. Later, the poet meets a man, but such a feeling comes to nothing. Out of the blue, another man is met, and finally passion starts. Yet, his second experience proves to be another failure, because this man disappears as suddenly as he has turned up. Before disappearing as well, the woman feels to Kalman Kalojay, a Hungarian marologist, refer to both today's as well as tomorrow's people. This man of science wrote verse made in Esperanto, in artificial language. The poet's mind starts to be interrupted. She anagrammatic her first name and surname 13 times. She understands that the only way out is exchanging love for peace and harmony. She writes one of the first sonnets of Dante's, Guido vorrei che tu l'appedio, repeated in English, Guido, I wish you luck and life, so as to hopefully establish a new literary tradition. So now I have to read some poems, in some poems, and then of course I have to translate them into English for you. So I could start from the first when I told you that an example of a woman taken from our Italian literary tradition, that is Florinda. I don't know if you ever heard about Torquato Tasso, who lived in the 16th century, and he wrote a famous poem. It was praised Jerusalem. You know that the Christians went to Jerusalem to free it from Muslims. In this case, there are a lot of contemporary adventures about this fight between Muslims and Christians. And in this case, we had a Christian hero, a man called Tancredi, and this man is in love with Florinda. Florinda is a Muslim warrior, and she's a woman, and she fights for the Muslims. So what happened here, that I translated, I invented a kind of a typical stance I used by Torquato Tasso at those times. It was an active, an 8-line line, and so it's running in a particular way. So I'm going to read you first the text first, and then I translate for you. Florinda, quanto t'odio, Tasso, ho tornato tanto, sgozzarti nei più degni ad un tempio, dillatti l'onore del tuo metanto, sì che per tutti pagasti l'esempio. Tagli prima l'eroe sacrosanto, bene metallico quel parascempio, molto parere mio, fatta cristiana, io, fida combattendo musulmana. In English, should be like that. How much I hate you, Rosario, so much praise. You make me worse than a thankful. You instill in me the odor of your wonderful song, so that for every woman I paid the example. First you prepare the famous, the celebrated hero, later a metal penis will destroy me. Against my will, I was made Christian. I was a faithful Muslim warrior. This is the first. Then there is another, so that she belongs to the literary tradition, another woman who belongs to the artistic tradition, Camille Claudel. She lived in the 19th century. She was a very famous French sculptor, and she became a lover of Rodin's. Rodin is more famous. It's not difficult to understand why. She was a woman, he was a man, and what happened to her when he left her, that first of all she destroyed all her sculptures, and then she went to die in an asylum, where she was sent by her brother. So, in Italian è recamé, or is French, recamé. A corsa all'albero più paterno mi avvinse in pochi rami stretti stretti. Mi vissero sua lente sirena, figurato dall'appellivo amante, respinta dal mondo artistico, sotto tutto lo stato. Eternal tree, I was enclosed in strong, narrow, narrow. Obviously, I destroyed because it was spot. Destroying all the sky, diagonal snow, horizontal snow. So this way, not here. Then, what else? Well, when love, when love appears for the first time in my life, scossa e ritrizza, scocca l'amore, patisce, schernisce, punisce, svanisce, amore viene, amore va, in fondo resta amore. So much. Poi, paratamente, when I realized that this man wasn't good for me, vagamente, i mustanti ricordi del tutto, la testa, via alla colla, paratamente, gli scagliasti fine di rose, l'anima era fonte, aprile diventò dicembre, gelo, trino leggenda. Che you bounce into the parts of my looks, my head, and meet the ground. Get you throw at me a rose thorn on my soul. You squat back. Suddenly, loud became December. Frost destroyed my pulse. This lamp is la stanza of Christ imitates a similar stanza in Dante's Purgatory, in one of the first cantos. Well, then about the second man, when passion starts, la nasco l'attacco per gli scuoti di attack in English. Trovasti d'anima mia sul selciato, candele cadute, muro crollato, vasi di tristezza sconvolta, con mani pazienti, l'uomo sapiente, improvviso, impavile, imponente, rovi increcati quei dischi. L'anima mia potassi la morte, prima con grida la riconoscesco, poi la strappasti con disperazione. In English, you found my soul on shouting during tonality. Later, you tell your story told in despair. Then, later, when the woman is alone, decides to find some comfort, speaking with the Hungarian Baroquist verse. But that man wrote in artificial language. So first I had to read it, and then with my Italian translation, and then the in zero, primo frosto, senza che Umberto Floros, su via Paul Rosto, in Italia, caro uomo del presente, un po' troppo corretti, per nascere premetti, alla tua immantinente, non è panna convente da vita già vedesti, semente ti sedesti, porco mangia te semente, ma senti, ti dirà, qual brindisi conforto, fino a morte ferirà, miseria gelo torto, primavera fiorirà, sul tuo polvere morto. In English, dear today's man, a bit too much you ran, you hurried to be born. I'm drinking to help immediately. Life is not with cream, with meat. You realize that. You sit down and meet the seeds. A pig eats you as well as the seeds. But listen, just like a toast, a comfort will stand for you. Till death, misery, frost, and wrong will hurt you. Spring will bloom on your death dust. And then, the last one, that the famous sonnet that written by Dante, that I had to change because I had to take away the word love, and I changed it with love and harmony. Then it's inspired to another kind of experience, because I know that I'm a teacher. Some years ago, I had a class made up of, I think that were no more than 20 people. And most of them were all foreigners. So it was an example of a peaceful coexistence for these people. Because, for example, here, I'm speaking about the Chinese people, Ulmo was Brazilian, China was Albanian, Tabara and Yara were Nigerian, and Sukata was a Filipino girl. So, but I can assure you that there was a very good, pleasant climate here. There was no racism at all in this club. Allora, Ulmo vorrei che tu lì, Bob e io, fossimo presi per somma magia e messi in fruttotto che la tarassia si seminasse al cuore vostro e mio, così che, grandine o alto turbinio, non ci fosse mai diavoleria, anzi, vivendo per sempre in armonia, di stare insieme crescesse voglia o brio, e Scina, Tabara, consultata poi, con Diara, che può fare la modella, con noi ponesse per mago sagace, nel fruttotto, ragionar di pace, e ciascuna di loro fosse sorella, siccome fratelli saremmo. Allora, Ulmo, I wish you, Libo Meg and I were taken by a sublime magic and put an experiment in a full forest that in a galaxy, a according to your and my own will would be sown, so that ale or other wherewith any black magic would not be present, and living in harmony forever, to stay together, would any will or happiness would grow with the time. In Scina and Tavara, and with Città later, with Diaria, would be a model that slide we set would dust together, and in the good forest to speak about peace, and each of them could be a kind like a sister to us, just like we could be brothers all together. I hope you appreciate my poems.
Thank you.
It's very easy to translate just.
Thank you so much.
Just now.
Thank you so much, Anna ma'am. Now it is open for discussion. If anybody is willing to ask any question regarding the poem or Anna Maria ma'am's book, please you may ask.
Hi, Anna Maria. It's nice to have you here with us. Really happy, and it's nice to listen also to your beautiful poetic language. My question is the following. So I'm really intrigued by the way you use classical characters and classical poems that already exist or way of writing, and you give your own contemporary voice. I'm really intrigued by this choice, and I would like to know how much, when you talk about this topic, particularly when you were talking about classical characters like Camille Claudel, for example, how much there is of Anna Maria inside?
Of course, the choice is not that long. I try to look for characters who can be interesting for me. So, of course, as I told you, I am behind all this. The fact that the poets are just 42, and I'm present just. Perhaps you wanted to connect when I guess say that I'm present just on the 11th poem. So what is before? Before you have poems about the other women, and some can be also be fictional. They weren't real, but of course it would be interesting. For example, Florinda is not just a warrior. In the typical warrior we all know when we go to school, because as I told before, Jerusalem is studied, studied at school, especially in the first year of the high school, with no less worse yet. But of course, the point of view is typical masculine. Of course, it's and Christian as well. In fact, she has to be baptized, and just at the end of her day, because her opinion is not asked. We don't know if she agreed with it. And we're going here. Perhaps it's what Florinda really thought about. So she is reacting not against Tancredi who killed her, but against the writer. Made her so an example, a woman who virginity, because at the time virginity was the most important virtue, for a woman. It was also a woman of the military work, of course, because she was perhaps the best warrior of the Muslims. But of course, the fact that she's killed predicts that the Muslims are going to lose the war. And the only way to justify this kind of Tancredi's love, no? Because Tancredi can't have this woman, just like she can't have Tancredi, because they belong to different sides, to opposing sides, no, of the army. And of course, it wasn't the only time, because before we had Ludovico Ariosto, and Ariosto wrote Furious of Lando, and here the case where hidden there he had Ruggiero and Bradamante. Bradamante was a woman, was Christian, while Ruggiero was a Muslim. And the wizard had predicted that if Ruggiero would marry the Christian warrior, he would die sometime later. So he spent most of the time trying to hide Ruggiero in a castle. And Bradamante is looking for him everywhere, of course. At last, she can find him. Because at the end, the poem should end with their marriage.
Anna ma'am, this book seems to be metaphorical in style. You have taken this title, She, Shabby, Chic, as a metaphor to describe the condition of a woman, a single woman who is afraid of man and love. So is it metaphorical title? One question is this, and the second is this: do you think single women can survive alone in this world?
I think that it's very, very difficult to survive. I think
Anna ma'am, we are surviving, you are surviving, and I am surviving.
Yes. For example, there is another poem I didn't read it here. It's La strocca della donna sola, so the single woman's, it was a nursery rhyme. And here it's first we have a contraposition between Valentine's Day and the 14th of February, and but I don't know if it's just an Italian kind of festival, and the single people's festival, San Faustino, it's 7 days later, so it's the 15th of February. So we have to understand this poem. You should know this contrast between the 14th of February, St. Valentine's, and the 15th of February, St. Faustino's, was the patron of single people. So, filastrocca della donna sola. 14 è breve giorno, 15 leva di giorno. Sono Anna, sono una donna che non sarà nonna, donna che non ha voluto un buffone ben voluto, mostro della lingua nera, nera più della pantera, dallo scemo solo scemi quanti problemi, casa mi sono sudata, casa mi sono comprata, quanti con tutti i quattrini cene su per canini, quanto fegato ogni sera. My parents had prepared a husband for me because a young man used to come to our house. But when I found out that they wanted me to marry him, I started to say bad words, to curse, and so this man had to go away. So, 14th is a short day. The 15th takes away. And Anna, and the woman won't ever be a grandmother. The woman who didn't want a well-liked jester, a black-tongued monster, blacker than a panther, from a stupid man, just stupid children, the stupid people, how many problems. I told for a house, I bought my own house. How many with all the money, ashes over the chimneys, how much leader every evening, leader without any Barbera wine. The 14th is a short day, the 15th takes away. So we have to accept the situation, because it could have been even worse. Che non voglio dire meglio to share your own life with a person when you are just 13, it was 18, and you understand that he's not very intelligent. So I think it would have been a very great problem for me. Luckily, my parents understood. We had to give up.
I really like this poem. Sorry, I have to stop. I really like this poem. You use a rhythm which is, it's like a nursery rhyme. It looks like a light poem, but it hides the strong voice of a strong woman, a warrior. And I'm seeing that also the other poems you wrote they are celebrating the strong voices of women. And I'm asking myself, I'm asking you, it's kind of a rhetorical question, but in history,
we are considered to be too dangerous. So we prefer us to be silent, not even to learn and write. I don't know if you share my own opinion, who live in India. It's not very easy even for Italian women, even nowadays. For example, women are expected to be patient, to be teachers, or have very easy jobs. But it's a problem when you decide to do something different. For example, I studied a second language. I studied Portuguese, but I couldn't say anything at home because they understood that we knew that because of the fact it was Portuguese, that at those times there was no Erasmus, the typical scholarship, Nowadays, Erasmus was invented in 1989, yes. And I'm speaking to you about 7 years before, so it didn't exist. Because I wanted to study language who allowed me to spend some time abroad. It wasn't possible for English because we had to be near our degree. And then, of course, we had too many people who aspired to go abroad using English. So I decided to study Portuguese because it was possible if you were very good and speaking using the language, it was possible to stay at least a summer in Lisbon, but I was obliged not to say anything at home, just at the last moment, when I won the scholarship at last, I phoned my family, and I won a scholarship. This summer I go to Lisbon. They Portuguese So you study Portuguese, so we knew everything at the moment. We didn't know anything about the examinations because it took 3 examinations, we didn't know anything. So when I was planning to go to Lisbon, where
That's another sign of you being a warrior. And it's not, you did not study only Portuguese. Apparently you know very well also Esperanto. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Esperanto. Well, Esperanto is a language which was invented in 1859 by Charles Stameno. It was Polish, and he was a Jew, and so he lived in a place where there were different people belonging to different nationalities, and these people couldn't understand one another. And for that reason, they often quarreled. And so he dreamt of inventing a new language which would make people be peaceful, because at last we could understand one another. And so it took a lot of time, of course, and after then he made his new language using just 16 rules, which don't know any change. We are like that all the time. And so what happened? He prepared the grammar, he wrote some poems with the Russian translation, and he sent everything to Lev Tolstoy, who was the most important Russian writer. So he sent and prepared, can you imagine, a Russian letter, because at those times Poland was under the power of the Russians. So he sent everything to Lev Tolstoy, and after a very short time, Tolstoy answered him in Esperanto, and they told somehow that they learned this language in just 2 hours. And said that it will be the language of the future. And in fact, it's just a chance that Esperanto hasn't become a universal language, because its real name, it's not Esperanto, because Esperanto was the nickname given to the inventor, to Zamenhof. It was a lingua internazia, that is international language. It was that at the time of the League of the Nations, more or less in the 1930s, that it was France, which was the official language of embassies of politics in Europe, which refused to adopt Esperanto. And of course there was the Second World War, and then the English came forward. But it should have been Esperanto. But every day in the world you can have programs, speeches, books presented in this language, even scientific texts are written in this language. And well, of course, you can imagine nowadays it's not possible, but every year there is a place in the world, generally it's a capital, where a universal Esperanto Congress is taken. For example, I went to Beijing in China, I went to Vilnius, I went to Rotterdam in Holland, and to Florence when it was made in Italy, and also I went to La Habana. I went to La Habana in Cuba. For example, Fidel Castro was very much in favor of this Universal Congress, because of course he understood it against America. not just because for election, but because they understood that it was important even to spread Cuban ideas in this language. For example, I knew about a new kind of Cuban vaccine, Soberana. I knew about that last June, because last June, a new vaccine was prepared in Cuba, because we were helped by Russian money. But it was already ready at that time. Because medicine is now very advanced there.
Anna Maria ma'am, there is a question by Dr. Manisha in the chat box. She is referring that who is the man the woman in your poem is afraid of. She is the lover, or maybe as
Appeared when she was more or less 30, the first. And she was 52 when she met the second. So I don't think that she was young. She was a bit old.
Okay. Anna ma'am, I also have some questions. I was just waiting on something that I'll ask. So, I was just reading and going through the video and that you shared with us. And you use the word that you're trying to express your untidy. So, that also is a touch of familiarity. So I just wanted to know what actually does it refer to, with untidy poetics with familiarity.
Manju, we cannot hear your question properly. I think, Anna Maria ma'am, can you mute yourself for just a minute so that, can you mute yourself for a minute? Anna Maria ma'am? Manju, now ask.
Okay, so I was saying, like by going through the document that Anna ma'am has shared with us, she has used the term that she is trying to express her untidy poetics, and that also with a touch of familiarity. So I just wanted to know, what does this untidy poetics refer to in the book?
Well, I think that almost, of course I'm referring to Italian writers, but I think that it's untidy. I use this word untidy because of course I'm not referring to a very traditional kind of writing poems. It's just, for example, using a stanza, the typical stanzas of our literary tradition, or for example the rhymes, because when I do that, for example in Filascocca la Donna Sola, the single woman's nursery rhyme, in that case rhymes are joking, are amusing, because for example the line I'm using is an 8 line, and in Italian literary tradition this kind of line is not used because it belongs to the popular tradition, because the nursery rhymes weren't written by important popular. So we were some children when we were very, very little.
So, do you refer to...
And in some time, because we are not as you expect we should be. But I think that if you write what people expect from you, it's quite useless for you to write. Because other people perhaps have made it be better than you. So it's better to use the tradition as you like. But it's very good to use it. Because they got something stable, established there. And so it's a good reference point for you. You can do it with it. Without it.
Okay, it's like comparing today's poetry with the classical poetry forms. And looking at that, are we going through that? And I just, the same review, like when you were talking about the content in the poems, it's like on the one side, there is a longing in the women for a sound love relationship, as well as the women. Most of the women have been portrayed living a tormented love life. Because maybe they are not able to find, or maybe there are incompleteness in the love relations. Something like that. And the other side, they all are rushing for a materialistic life. So, where is there the balance? Do you see any balance in that thing, or have this balance has been portrayed in the poetry, like in the further lines? Because it's up to 11 poems, it's like tormented relationship. And then there is a kind of rush for materialistic life. So, where there is a balance? You're on mute.
You're muted.
Ma'am, unmute yourself.
I think that it's very difficult to find a balance in life. But at last you have to be satisfied with what you have, even if that what you have is very, very little. So you are young. Well, but
I need to ask in the poetry, is there any balance also further has been portrayed? Or like the relation goes onwards like that in future? Because there is also a notion like in the future relationship and love feelings also have been portrayed somewhere. I haven't gone through further poetry, so I can't say that there is a balance also or not. Ma'am, you're on mute. Anna, ma'am, unmute yourself.
sorry, I was distracted by two messages which turned up here on my computer. So I was distracted. Can you repeat it? Sorry.
Oh yeah, sure. No, no. I was just asking, like, if I do not know if the further poems have any balance in relationship, future longings, or is there any perfection has been achieved, or at least the balanced life or love life, because it's basically portrayed on love, which is struggling between a bad relationship and the longings for materialistic life as well at the same time. Ma'am is on mute.
It is,
Ma'am,
yes. This is my only collection of poems thinking about myself. So I think that balance is very difficult, but perhaps it's not very good to say. But I prefer to speak about social topics. I think that it's better to forget yourself when you do like that.
Okay. Can I?
Okay, good evening, ma'am.
Okay.
Am I audible?
My man following the same
Am I audible?
Yes, Kanu.
Thank you. But perhaps
Ma'am,
you fall in the
ma'am,
same category.
I just wanted to ask, like, whether it is this specific poem or, it's like you place all men in the same category.
Yes. Well, in one category. But according to my experience, I wasn't lucky. According to my own experience, we are really falling into the same category. Perhaps it's not true, but that was my life. Perhaps I was, the fact that I had to follow my own career. I hadn't any time to stop and find the right man. I didn't have any time to find Prince Charming. And so, if you want to be, at least it's like that in Italy, if you want to be independent, really independent from your family, from anyone, you have even decided to leave your own place, your birthplace. And for example, I was informed of my transfer to Renault, where I had should become a teacher of permanent staff. I was informed just 5 days before, and I was certified. So you can imagine what could have happened if I had been married with children. What would have happened to my relationship? I don't think that my husband absolutely nothing. And so that on that same year, because I was even informed a month later, because the state was late as usual, and so it was informed just 5 days before. And I lost even a month's job. So stop. So I had to go to live in a place I didn't know at all. And to find a place where to spend the night. I had to stay in a hotel for 20 days before finding a place, a flat, to live in. In fact, a lot of people in Italy, a lot of people retire and they never became teachers of permanent staff. I was obliged to go to Lombardy, then off, a place which is not very far from Milan, because that place is, that region is full of schools. And so life is very difficult to live there, because life is very expensive, and so people don't want to be teachers. And so that's why a lot of people coming from the south or from the center region decided to go there. It's perhaps today it's no more common, because even local people decided to become teachers. But the problem is that life like that, so you accept it. When you know it, there is no choice. So imagine a person who had to live, who knew that she had to live 5 days before, not a month before, 2 months before. after 5 years age before. It's terrible, can I assure you. Because I didn't know at the time what kind of documents of civils I should have to prepare. So I couldn't have the time to speak about the men. I don't know if you can understand. If you have similar experiences in India.
Anna Maria ma'am, in this poetry collection, you have written that she rewrite one of her first sonnets of Dante, so as to hopefully establish a new literary tradition. So how much you and your poetry are inspired by the great writer Dante?
Okay, no, it's Dante. We have the celebrations during this year because he died in 1321. So it starts to be a lot of centuries between us and Dante. But it was the real starter of our Italian tradition, because the sonnets were invented before by Guido Vinizelli, but Dante became more famous because of his own Divina Commedia, but Divine Comedy. But of course, this is one of the most famous sonnets written by him. So I think that it's, of course, it's playful. If you saw you start to change something, even some word in this kind of sonnet, perhaps you can restart everything. So you can restart a different tradition. Of course, everything is playful. It can't be true. I wish it were true. I don't think it's possible for.
Anybody else has any question to ask? So I hope all the queries have been solved, and we all wish that your books are bestseller.
Unmute yourself.
I'm extremely delighted by your lecture, Anna Maria ma'am, and I will congratulate you for introducing us to something new, the Shabby Chic style. My curiosity is, can you do you have any suggestions how we can utilize this Shabby Chic style to mend the one which we are going through? Do you think we can do something through literature, through this Shabby Chic style in this area?
Well, why not? But we could do something similar, because it could be, I don't know, for example, I was inspired by my old literary tradition, by Tasso, by Dante. Why not starting from your own Indian tradition? It's time to change some words. To choose some poems of your own literary tradition. It's time to see what happens. That it works. I don't know.
Okay.
Excellent answer, Anna Maria ma'am. Excellent.
Yes.
Yes. Anna Maria ma'am, can you mute your mic, because it is creating a little bit technical issue. As Anna Maria ma'am said, and since 1 year we are living in this COVID era, Corona time. So in this era also I have started reading many spiritual when when some disaster happens, you move toward a little bit of spirituality. So I have read Rumi a lot. I read Amir Khusro. I read Mirabai. And after reading this poet, I felt a little bit satisfaction, because like Gautam Buddha says, desire and emotions are the cause of suffering. So, but still we human being, we have full of desire, and one of the desire of all poets and writers, translator, is that our books, our best selling books, they become very popular around the world. They are very much liked by the scholar community, poet, writer community. In the same way, we wish Anna Maria ma'am a best of luck and good luck for your future, and all your books becomes bestseller. This is a good luck wish from all the PLCS team. And so a very scholarly evening, like we were not aware of this term, Shabby, Chic, which is an Italian term, and you have written that it was coined by Interior magazine by an American designer, Rachel Aswell. He founded the Shabby Chic brand in 1989. So this we didn't know, and we came to know today by your presentation, and thank you so much for that. And we in India are very much like Dante. Dante is very much popular in India. But the thing is that the current in the current time, as we all the world over, we are having our own literature in English. So everybody is concentrating on their native literature in English. Like we concentrate more on Indian literature in English, but still we like Greek writer a lot, we write Italian writer a lot, we like British writer a lot, because all this classical writer cannot be replaced, they cannot be substitute. In the same way, we have very good Sanskrit writer also, like Sanskrit, Greek. These two literature are very ancient.